Hello and welcome to Everyday Alchemy Show on the Wind. My name is Morassi. I'm your host, and this is all about, the show is all about transforming your dreams into your reality. And today I am so delighted to have my very dear friend, Christina Morassi, the heart shot photographer, with us today to talk about her experience with what it means to change and transform from the inside out. And so what we had a really interesting conversation about what Christina has learned about alchemy in her own life. And so share that with everybody, because I loved what you said.
Well, thanks, Marcy. Thanks for having me on. Yes. And first of all, alchemy is one of my most favorite words, and I almost really even think of myself as an alchemist, so it's an honor to be here. And I read a definition of alchemy once that I absolutely loved, and it said, in order to create alchemy, you need three things. You need something to transform, you need the energy to transform it, and you need a container or a vessel to do it in. And I really took that to heart and have kind of lived by that, because I feel like so many people do a lot of transformation, but they might miss out on that container or that vessel aspect. And so the transformation happens, but then it sort of wafts off into the universe rather than being contained and creating true and lasting change. So that's something that I love.
Yeah, I love that too. And you know, I have had the absolute privilege and pleasure of watching Christina evolve in the last year in your life. Talk about transformation. It is astounding to have bared witness, and she's truly an inspiration to me, and I've watched her personally grow and professionally grow. And share with everybody your own experience this year, because it's quite remarkable.
Thank you. Well, it's funny, recently I was looking back a year ago to where I was, and I have changed so much. It's kind of phenomenal how much can change in a year. So 1 year ago today, I didn't have a business. I didn't know how all my gifts came together. I was kind of struggling with money and really frustrated, knew I had something big to bring into the world, but wasn't quite sure what it was. And so I was in a couple of mastermind groups, and I was kind of devouring this information. I was in networking groups, but my broken record was, I've got all these gifts, but I don't know how they come together, because I was a former fashion photographer who then got into the healing arts in LA, and then was a workshop facilitator and used essential oils and sold them and also created rituals, but I had no idea how those all came together. And so a year ago, I got myself into a high-end mentorship program, and all of a sudden, it all started to come together. And I really use the word alchemy, actually, because I feel like so many of us have all these passions inside of us, but they're compartmentalized. They're all separate. Maybe we do one or two in our businesses and our everyday lives, but the rest are at nights and on the weekends. And I was determined to bring them all together, like all of them. And so with the support of my mentor, it all came together into combining transformation work with photography, and eventually now I am known as the heart shot photographer. So it's been an amazing journey.
Share with the ladies and whoever's watching out there the whole thing about Christiane Schul's advice to you about planting these what you envisioned for yourself.
So about a year ago and a little bit more from today, again, I told you I was this broken record, and I was in 3 mastermind groups at the time, and finally this wonderful woman named Christiane Schul, she suggested, well, why not write down all of your gifts on little pieces of paper separately and then plant them? And I thought that was brilliant, because I loved ritual already, and I had thought to include that into this process. And so I thought I brought together all the things that I loved and my gifts and my passions, and I wrote them on little pieces of paper, and I got a plant and I put them underneath and did a little ritual and used some essential oils and anointed everything. And I think that led to me really finding the support that I need, and and the fact that I was able to move forward. So those little rituals and those little everyday alchemies can make a big difference.
Yes, and I love that ritual, because what Christina did is she planted roots. I mean, she took these visions and she planted them and she created the root. And if you think about it, and also you leaped in the deep end. She really financially, you put yourself on the line, and your investment in herself to be able to transform the life that she envisioned. So it took a big leap. It took rooting these visions not only into the earth but into your heart, and you did that through ritual, which then in fact played itself out for the rest of the year. So now you took all this learning and all this growth, and now you have transformed yourself into, well, you've always been a coach, but now you're leveling even what you have to offer to the world. Share what you're doing now with other women and professionals.
Okay. Well, it's been an amazing journey over this last year of combining the transformation work with photography. I work with women entrepreneurs and help them really get to the heart and soul of the essence of their brand, and then be able to embody that and radiate it out into the world so that they get pictures that pop off the page and bring their brand to life. And so it's been quite successful, which has been wonderful. I always have these wonderful pictures to share on Facebook, and even one of my former clients brought me to the UK to work with her clients, and so it's been an amazing journey. But you know that I'm determined to bring all of my gifts together, and so I knew that there was even more of me to offer. And so just a few weeks ago, I launched a year-long program this time. Normally I work with people in a one-day format, but I knew that I wanted a bigger container to create for someone, and therefore bigger alchemy, right? If we go back to our original definition. So I created this year-long program called the Year of Your Genius. It's time to grab your place on this planet with a roar.
Is this called roar, right?
Yeah. So there's a roaring aspect to it, because I really think that's an energy to transform. That's alchemical, right?
Yes.
When we tap into our primal energies. So I'm so excited. So it's a year-long program for two people to kind of do what I was able to do, which was, how do we bring all of our passions together into one? How do we change our relationship to money? How do we take our place on the world stage and reach many, many people? So I'm really excited about that program and feel like I'm bringing even more of my gifts together. So there is photography in there because it's so transformative, but there's a lot more too, and I get to bring more of myself into the process as well. So
I'm so excited and delighted for you
thank
in
you.
your own expansion, and then the fact that this is going to have a ripple effect to everyone Christina comes into contact with. I had the delight, besides her becoming a very dear friend, and spending the day with her and doing some of the rituals of going inward and looking at the different parts of myself that I wanted to actualize a little bit more, either recognize or actualize, and she really helped me look at parts of myself that I didn't even recognize to actualize, right? And actually the picture on the win page is a Christina Morassi picture. So honey, thank you so much. If you want to learn more about Christina's work, your website is christinamorassi.com. And I thank you so much for being with us today.
Welcome.
I
Thank
encourage all of us to roar into our lives.
You want to roar with me?
Ready? But only if you guys join us.
Okay, on the count of three.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
It
It feels good, right?
Yes. Yes.